Show. I am Jason J. Rock Houston, and my wonderful co-host is Tom Collier from the band Held Hostage. And we've got Michael Beck from Escape The Hive. He's the lead singer, and his guitar player Conrad will be joining us shortly. So I'll have you start off the show today, Tom.
Okay, so hey, how you doing today, Michael?
I'm good. I'm waiting for a guitar player, which is the story of my life.
Well, come on now. I'm a guitar player and singer. You don't always wait for us. So I just had a couple of things I wanted to talk about. So I listened to your album and watched it. I Can See It was like this really cool groove tune. Who wrote that? And I love the alien theme in there too, like the aliens playing. That was like, that kind of caught me by surprise. That was like such a cool video and a great tune. Let's talk about that song and the meaning of it and stuff.
Okay. Well, the song itself is, we took a little liberties with it on the video with the alien thing, but I'll get to that in a minute. But the song itself is just about, seeing the truth in things, and sometimes no matter what it is, whether it's whether you've been deceived or whether it's through something else, when the truth finally comes to light, it's kind of a surprising thing. And so, it's like, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah.
So where you never could before, being so close to the problem. So that's kind of what it's about. And the guy who did the video and us wanted to take a little bit of liberty and move it into kind of a conspiracy theory thing. And so that, the aliens came.
Excellent. Great idea. I love that idea. That concept was really cool.
And we were a little worried when we first did it. There's two ways to go about it. You can hire Steven Spielberg and spend $10 million on an alien video, or you can do it where it doesn't look like that and it's funny. I didn't want it to be serious. I didn't want, Close Encounters of the Band kind or anything like that.
So I love that they were playing the guitars and singing and everything. It was just really cool the way you guys brought. That's what I mean. It caught me off guard, so it really got my attention.
Cool. Well, then we did our job. I like it when we do that. So.
You absolutely did. Jason, go ahead. What do you got?
I like when you throw humor into anything, and Tom, what a great way to get started, because I don't know if you realize, I Can See It is the latest single off of their album. They just that's just a new video that just went out.
It is. Yeah.
And I want to ask you, Mike, I noticed in a lot of, you sent me some photos. He said, I want to send you some current photos that you can, post, and I'm going to do that later when we get off doing this. But I noticed a lot of the photos and a lot of the videos. I never really paid attention, but you're real physical with the mic. You like when you're singing, you're really like holding it. Where a lot of people just sing into the mic. Is that it seems like that's like a trademark of yours? Is that something that's just developed over the years?
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm sure it's developed over the years, but it's really, I mean, how do you explain your style? It's just what
I'm asking is something that's just kind of occurred. Like you didn't, I guess you didn't really set out to do, but I noticed in other singers like Rod Stewart's a little physical with a mic, like Kevin DuBrow would like really get up close, and not all singers. I just noticed certain ones, and that's kind of something that stood out. And so I thought, I don't know if he's aware that he even does that. Yeah.
And I'm not really. I mean, other than it's always important to me as a songwriter and a lyric writer to, to get not only the words across, which are very important, being the writer of the lyrics, but also the emotion of the song. So, I think you connect on a deeper level with the audience if you're able to do that. And, all my favorite singers do that. So I don't think it's really a conscious thing, but it's definitely something that I wouldn't want to not do.
Well, it's something I noticed and I picked up on. I wasn't even, I wasn't even really conscious, but I picked up on it right away. I was thinking about it, watching the video, and like you said, I kind of like the fact you do something like that, if you're aware of it or not, because it gives the audience something to kind of check out, to look at, as opposed to just a guy singing into the mic. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that. That's like I said, it's not conscious, but it's it's definitely something I do.
Well, you're really into what you're doing, and I think that's why people are into this band now. Another big part of this band and this album, I mean, I think 10 years from now, this is a debut album people are going to be talking about as far as, very much like the debut Van Halen album. It sounds nothing like Van Halen, but what I'm saying is, you have your whole life to, like they say, write your first album. And I mean, this is a great collection of tunes.
I really appreciate it. Yeah. But I got to tell you, and Conrad will as soon as he gets here. Yeah. But the first record, we're really happy. We're really proud of it. We're proud to tour behind it. It's great to be able to play those songs every night. But the second record, we are about halfway done recording, and we've got about 12 songs written.
Wow.
And it's really coming together pretty well. So this is much more of a cohesive band thing. Conrad is much more involved in the writing and should be. And I am just I'm really anxious for everybody else to hear it. It'll probably be out sometime next year, but I'm really anxious for everybody else to hear it. We're playing, at least half the songs on the record live now. So if you come see it,
wow. I'm going to throw it back to you, Tom.
Sure, absolutely.
My partner is going to ask you some questions. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. So I wanted to talk a little bit, I love when the band says, when people come to us, I'm president of a record company. So when people come to me and they say, oh, this is our best record, I always say, no, it isn't. The best is yet to come. Write a better one.
Right.
And they always do. You got to tell them, my first album was great. My next album was much better. My last album hit the Billboard charts and spent, 18 weeks on the Billboard charts. So I love what you're saying, talking about the next album. That's perfect. That's the way true musicians think about that. Don't think the best is behind you. It's in front of you, man. So
no. I also know that, I've done this for long enough to know that everybody says that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I really, if you come see us live, there's two particular songs that seem to really hit with the crowd that are going to be on the new record. And I can't wait for everybody to hear them. Like I said, we're about halfway through recording it. We do have 12 songs written. So the album is basically written. It's just a matter of recording the other back half of it. But playing live has been great. The response is really cool.
So this album, the recent album we're talking about, did you release that all in singles, or did you release it as a whole album? Did it come out as physical product, digital? How did you guys do that?
No, we released this record. This is going to sting on September 15th. So almost a year ago, a little over a year. And on Vanity Music Group, distributed through Sony. All at once. We're a 70s style rock band. Mm-hmm. So, releasing singles, on YouTube and iTunes was not going to fit what we do.
Sure, absolutely. Is there a physical product with this too, or not?
Oh yeah. There's CDs, there's vinyl, both available, and of course, the streaming thing as well. But I would prefer you listen to it on CD and vinyl.
We're old school guys. We love to have physical product. That will always be me.
Absolutely.
I tell you, we're all the age of three of us that I miss going to a record store back in the day. Kids don't know what an experience that was. Going to the local tower record.
I couldn't agree with you more, and that was a huge part of not only wanting to do it on CD, which came out first, and then the streaming, but we definitely wanted to release it on vinyl. It sounds great on CD, it sounds great on streaming, but it sounds the way it's supposed to on vinyl. And
as a guy that creates the songs and sings them, it's got to be great to hold that finished product in your hand and say, this is our baby. We made it.
Nothing better. Little bit of tears shed that day, I got to tell you.
Yeah. And like you said, you're working on the new album now. We cannot wait to hear that. We'll have to have you back, Michael. But how hard is that process of, okay, now we got more than just one album's worth of material to put to create a set list. So the toughest part has got to be what to take out and what what do you
You're
add?
You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
It's we do a bit live. We do about a 90-minute set, so it's a good strong set. Again, we're a 70s style rock band, so going up and just playing 90 minutes worth of songs is not what we do. It's a show. It's there are a lot of things that are improv, but there are a lot of things that are calculated, and the bands that did that well, we try to pay homage to, so it's definitely a thought process that we've thought about.
yeah. I could definitely hear like that 70s influence in the music, but who specifically, as far as singers, are the guys that influenced you?
Two in particular. One, vocally, is without question Steve Walsh from Kansas. That's a huge influence of mine. From hearing Kansas for the first time, and still today, I always think, God, I want to sing like that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Wow.
and then the other one is David Lee Roth, who, in
Wow.
my opinion, a lot of people knock him as a singer, but if you go back and listen to those first four Van Halen records,
Yeah.
killing it. He is killing it. He's doing things that nobody else at that time was doing, and I think he got away from that and became more of a showman than a singer. But those first push of records, he was a singer and he was doing it. But the big influence for me is his lyric writing. He writes.
I was going to say, because Dave is a showman, and that's part of what I've always loved about him. But I love some of the nonsensical lyrics. It's just you don't even know what he's singing about necessarily, but it doesn't matter. It sounds good.
If you can find a better lyric than "blue-eyed murder in a size 5 dress," I dare.
Yeah.
That is as close to poetry as a song gets. He has a way of saying things that even if you don't know what he's saying, you kind of know what he's saying. I constantly strive for that.
Yeah. I mean, got my back against a wrecking machine. What the hell is a wrecking machine? But it doesn't even matter. Yeah.
They're so visual. They're so, they pull on such emotion. He's just always been, if I ever get stuck on a lyric, it'd be, what would Dave write?
And then, the way he talks to you, like, I don't know if you've ever had a chance to check out his podcast, The Ross Show. He does every once in a while. He puts out an episode, and it's very entertaining because you hear the guy talk, and you can tell he's, despite what people may think, he's very educated, and yet you're not totally sure what he just spent 30 minutes talking about, but somehow you enjoyed it, Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, I'm of that age where I grew up on Van Halen, and listening to him conduct an interview was an art form. I mean, it was it was great.
Yeah. And like I was telling you, Michael, my partner here, Tom, he's a fellow musician and songwriter, and so you guys have that in common. And so let me ask you, Tom, when you were listening to this stuff, like I said, to me, Michael's songwriting really stands out. But what was your first impression of these songs when you were checking them out?
Well, what I liked is I'm a groove guy, and these songs had some really cool, and each song took on its own identity. And it had such a really cool groove into it. The vocals, the drum, everything in these songs. I would love to see this band live. I think it'd be I think the album probably doesn't do these guys justice. I know there's bands out there like that. When people see my band live, they'll go, your album was great, but my God, we see you guys live. And I got the feeling this is exactly what these guys are. The band you have to experience. And when you're doing 90 minutes, that's what we do too. I'm sure you guys are quite an experience. What do you think about your live stuff?
Well, it's not us playing songs for 90 minutes. That's for sure. It's a show, and it's I always look at it as a singer and as a front man and as a songwriter, kind of as a journey.
Sure.
Each song is kind of its own little emotional time capsule in what it's supposed to be and where it's supposed to take you. So we try and do that throughout the show. And, that we're on tour for quite a bit this year and going to be even more next year.
Wow.
So it's nice to be able to, on this record, and we've noticed it already, it's nice to be able to play the songs that will go on the next record live before we actually record them. Because, in a room, it just doesn't, I think you're thinking about it too much where, I've said this before, live, you go out on the road for 2 weeks. It's like 6 months in the rehearsal room.
Oh, sure.
You find out things about songs and about the way you do them. And usually they're mistakes. Like, what the hell did I say there? Oh, that was pretty cool. I'm going to do that again.
Just accidentally came out. Tom, last night I sent Michael a reminder about the interview today. We were chatting a little bit online. And of course, the big news yesterday was that his ex-bandmate Jakey Lee was shot in Las Vegas walking his dog. And we hear Jake's doing better. Expect to make a full recovery. But no, I was saying you were telling me how your email and your text was blowing up all day.
Blowing up. It was blowing up again this morning. And that's fine. I'm privileged enough to be connected to Jake somehow. So I don't have it's all good.
No, it's all good. We're just I guess I'm pretty sure that all three of us here are just glad to hear the guy is going to recover. That's the important thing. The time that I spent with Jake was obviously a bucket list thing. It's great, looking to my left and singing the songs that guy wrote. That's a huge bucket list thing. But what I do know of Jake is I'm pretty sure he will outlive most of the planet. Yeah, that's what you're telling me. Well, Michael, we'd like to thank you. We're going to have to wrap it up today. Otherwise, our Zoom thing's going to cut us off. But don't worry. Conrad wasn't able to make it. We'll have you guys back definitely when the next album comes out. So I always love to have you guys. So thanks for taking time to do this. Really appreciate it.
Hey, I really appreciate it. And even though he's not here to tell you, Conrad does too.
I know. I'm sure something came up. No worries. Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.
All right. Good luck with the next album. Good luck with the next album, man.
Hey, thank you very much. Hope to see you out on tour.
Okay.
You probably will.